Watering our plants is arguably one of the most important things that we do for our houseplants. The truth is, you're probably making some mistakes. This is Cece from One Green Pea, and today I'm going to break down the most common watering mistakes and then tell you how to fix them. Watering mistake I want to talk about, I fondly call the Aunt Mary mistake. I have an Aunt Mary who's rather frugal and doesn't like to waste any water. Whenever there's water left in a glass, she'll just pour it on the nearest houseplant. It's not a terrible idea. I appreciate not wasting water, but as far as the houseplant goes, it's not helpful. In fact, can be harmful. When you water your houseplants, you want to really water your houseplants. Let me show you exactly how to do it properly. My Scindapsus plant is very thirsty. How do I know that? The plant is very light. When I put my finger in, the soil is very dry and the leaves are looking kind of wilty. So I'm going to water it right now for you. I have my watering can. I'm going to pour water in. I always try to pour water right down at the soil level, so I'm not getting excessive water on the leaves. And now the soil has taken as much water as it can because water started running out the bottom of the pot. So I'm going to set that aside for a while and just kind of let it stop dripping, and then I know that that plant has been thoroughly watered. When we do the dribble method, a little here, a little there, we never fully saturate the soil, so the roots really never get a good drink of water. A lot of us are worried about overwatering, and overwatering does not come from too much water necessarily. It comes from watering too often. So with most plants, you want the top inch or two of soil to dry out between waterings and then give them a good soak. Another common watering mistake that we often make is not checking the plant to see if it actually needs to be watered, being a slave to a schedule, like we water on Wednesday type of thing. If you are not checking your plant to see if it actually needs water, you're very likely overwatering your plant, and it's quite possible you could also underwater your plant. How do we check? The easiest way to check is to look at the soil. Wet soil is darker than light soil. Another way to check is to pick the plant up and start getting familiar with what a saturated plant feels like. A plant that's dry is going to be a lot lighter. Another method is the finger test, so poking your finger to the second knuckle down into the soil to see what it feels like. If it feels dry, the plant probably needs a drink. The method that I like to use, at least on my bigger plants, is using my soil meter, my water meter. It's very simple. I just poke it in to the pot and then look at where the dial is. And if the dial says it's dry, then it's probably needs a drink of water. Now, in a bigger plant, I want to do a couple of things. I want to put the meter deep down in, so I'm getting down to the root level, but also I want to test it in a couple of different places because the water the soil might be a little wetter in some places versus the other. Now this plant is showing dry, so probably needs a drink of water. Another common watering mistake that a lot of us make is, well, we get busy and we're inconsistent. Inconsistent meaning we water and then we forget for a couple of weeks and then we water a couple times the next week to make up for it. And that just makes plants crazy, to be honest. Plants thrive on routine just as we do. Houseplants are actually really adaptable and have kind of a range of conditions that they can live happily in, a range of light, a range of wet water, and when they're getting inconsistent messages, a lot of water, not a lot of water, then they don't adapt as well. So your best bet is to be consistently checking your plants to see if they need water. So the longer you have a plant, the more you're going to get to know that plant and know, oh, this plant generally needs watered every few days, whereas this plant does better every couple of weeks. And then maybe having a day of the week that you are consistently checking your plants to see if anybody needs a drink. Conditions change, it gets hotter, it gets colder, drier, and so we need to adapt so that we're giving our plants what they need and staying as consistent as possible. This next watering mistake is one that I have made many times, and that is not watering your cactus and succulents enough. I know we've all been told that we kill cactus and succulents by overwatering them, and that's true. But some of us swing the other way in trying not to overwater them, and that is neglecting them. Let me show you this poor plant and how it is demonstrating that it is very thirsty. I'll bring you in close for a look. The easiest way to know that this plant is thirsty is to look at the water meter, and it's way over on the dry side. But there are other clues as well. For instance, look at this leaf. Super wrinkly and super soft. Pulling out here, you can see other leaves are doing the same thing. And when I squish this guy, he has no resistance. Very thirsty. So this plant has been neglected and really wants a drink. The final watering mistake I want to talk to you about today is one that's near and dear to my heart, and that is out of sight, out of mind. And particularly, I'm referring to your needy plants and how keeping your needy plants in some place that you're going to see them often is going to be beneficial for that plant. Here is a case in point. This is a Ficus sagittata that I ordered and just thought it was so cute and put it on a shelf and promptly forgot about it. And a week later, he was crispy. And so I watered it and promised I'd be better, and it happened again. And the plant has responded, I'll show you, by losing most of its leaves, and the remaining large leaves are crispy. Now, I am doing much better. You can see that there is actually new growth happening. I have moved this plant into my bathroom, and it is right on my bathroom counter. So I see him numerous times a day. So he's no longer neglected. And I hope I didn't kill him. This also applies to plants that are small. I have this little set of plants in these wee little terracotta planters, and they've got two strikes going for them as far as watering goes, and that is A, they are tiny, and B, in terracotta. So they dry out really quickly. I have these on in my kitchen, just on the shelf above my sink. So they get a little drink of water pretty much every day, maybe every other day. And they get really dry in between. So if I were to forget about them, if they were out of sight, then they would all probably perish. So paying attention to plants that are maybe newly propagated in small containers, or just like a lot of water, thirsty plants, keep them where you're going to see them regularly, and even better, keep them near a water source so that you are constantly not only reminded, but quickly able to water those plants. So that's it, my top 5 watering mistakes that you and I both most likely make. Hopefully I gave you some good information today and motivated you to water properly, because it is what keeps our plants alive. Thank you so much for watching my video today. If it was helpful, interesting, useful, please give it a thumbs up and perhaps share with a friend. I love when you subscribe to my channel. It makes me feel like we're creating this wonderful green community. So until next time, my planty friends, let's keep growing together a greener world.